Hello, and welcome to another CheapWineFinder.com podcast. And today we have a wine from Trader Joe's. What's the name of it? I finally put the wine in front of me so I don't have to go over the side to grab it and get that train effect where well, you know what I mean. Anyway, it's Trader Joe's Reserve Merlot, Sonoma Valley, 2020. And one thing about that, I see Sonoma on a label of Trader Joe's and inexpensive value-priced wine so often that I just automatically think Sonoma County, which is a rather large area. And it took me almost to the time I was ready to start writing the review that it says Sonoma Valley on that. That's something else. Because there's Sonoma Coast, which is right along the mountains on the Pacific Ocean. That's a Pinot Noir area. And there's Sonoma Mountain. I'm not too familiar with Sonoma Mountain, but Sonoma Valley is east of Russian River and north of Sonoma side of Caneros. And it's like where the wine industry in California started in the 1850s. That's 1850s. So it's been around forever, and they've been growing Merlot there forever. I'm going to take a sip because this is a $10 wine that does not taste $10. I mean, not that nowadays $10 wines taste pretty good, but there's a certain style that's bright, it's fresh, it's fruity. This one seems to have more going on. Don't know why it is. They don't tell you what. There's some special story behind it. We don't know. So Sonoma Valley is a sub-AVA. This is a 9.99 wine. So it's from a very small place. There's actually a winery behind this wine. A lot of times Trader Joe's wines have faux wineries, some fake name that they use just for this one thing, for the use of getting the labeling going on. And Trader Joe's says that this is a longtime partner, and I've never seen the name before. What's the name? I'll look at the back of it. William Nuttall Winery, and they've been around for 50 years, 40 years. So I imagine that they have been one of the wineries behind some of the fake winery names in the past, if they're a long-time winery. And they make their own high-end single vineyard wines, and they make wines for other people. However that works out, and that could just be where they get some grapes and offer them a price, or whatever happens, whatever the scenario is. Here they're not telling you what the scenario is. And this is a Merlot. If you ever had decent Bordeaux wines, Merlot is awesome in Bordeaux. Where the whole Bordeaux wines, why it's one of the leading wine places in the world, is because the interplay between Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, these two grapes just dance well together and taste delicious. And half the wines out of Bordeaux, it sounds like it's a high-end. Well, it is high-end, but half the wines coming out of there are under $20. So that you can get good Merlot from Bordeaux wines without spending a fortune. And the more expensive they are, usually the better they are with the French wines, for they're more detailed. But you can get good Merlot. And in California, they do Bordeaux blends. They do Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. They call them Meritage blends. But more likely you're going to get Merlot on its own, where in France it's a blending grape. Take another sip. This is good. I mean, I haven't been doing a lot of Merlot. Actually, I have. We did a Clenay Merlot from one of the leading Bordeaux producers just a couple months ago, and it was awesome. That too was an expensive wine. There was a movie in 2004 called Sideways. These two guys, one of them's getting married, and they go out to have one last drunken bash, and they go to Santa Barbara, and one of the main characters hates Merlot and loves Pinot Noir, and quite literally, right after that movie came out, Pinot Noir sales went off the hook, and Merlot sales dropped. And in Santa Barbara, that's a Pinot Noir area. They're not necessarily known for Merlot. If they had filmed the movie in Napa, you'd probably get a whole different story. But for some reason, and still to this day, Merlot is not at the point where it used to be, which was one of the big, the noble grapes, one of the great grapes from France, up there with Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah. It's kind of a secondary wine, and it really shouldn't be. It's all because of a movie, I think. It's like, why would people do that? Why did all of a sudden people hate Merlot and love Pinot Noir when the two grapes were not really competing with each other? So, and here I am 17 years later talking about it, and this Merlot is really good. It's dark. It's got tannins. Usually an expensive wine doesn't show tannins. Tannins are a good thing in a red wine, but they kind of reduce them because a lot of people have a harder time dealing with tannins if they're not used to them. But if you're used to them, you want them in a red wine. This wine's got its tannins. The acidity is really balanced. The flavors unfold. It's got dark, rich flavors. It's got some spice to it, some exotic spices going on. It's kind of nice. I mean, it's a nice bottle of wine, and it has some complexity. It's not one of those wines that every time you take a sip, it changes. It's not one of those, but it's okay because the first sip is fine. Take another sip. So there you go. It's a single sub-ABA wine. The winery that made it didn't put a faux name on it. They put their own name on it, so they're proud of it. What's the background of this wine is, I don't know, but it doesn't matter because it's a good wine. And it's a Merlot. Try Merlot. This is, if you've been staying away from Merlot, this is for $9.99. It's a good way to jump back in because in the wintertime, it's still a little cold outside. This will warm me up a little bit. So that's it for me, Domain Dave from cheapwinefinder.com. Check us out where you like your podcast and all that. And I think I've got another interesting wine coming up in the next couple of days. So stay healthy, stay warm, and I will be talking to you. We have a few things planned like we always do. So keep it cheap and stay healthy and safe. Adios. Bye-bye.